This is a total body strength and conditioning session designed for your ovulatory phase. So, very similar to your period, ovulation is a transition time. It's where the body is moving from a low hormone state to a high hormone state, and that happens with a surge of estrogen. With that, you might be experiencing a range of kind of physical biomarkers at this time. You might be experiencing that elevated energy, that fertile goddess glow that so many people talk about. You might also be hitting this estrogenic surge with a little bit of overwhelm. Maybe you're trending toward anxiety or even fatigue. Sometimes for many women, the ovulatory phase represents kind of that early luteal invitation where things start to slow down. We are seeing that metabolic shift take place where we're shifting from really efficiently using carbohydrates, being really generous with carbohydrates, to more of that carb stingy mode where your body's not as readily releasing carbohydrates for energy. That means the higher intensity might feel a little bit more challenging, but you can still work for that in the ovulatory phase. So for today, if you're feeling on the high energy end of the spectrum, I want you to make this a high intensity practice where you are really giving your all in the conditioning bursts. You're going heavy with the strength exercises. Whereas if you're on the lower end of that spectrum, maybe you're already feeling those luteal phase vibes, we are at the end of our ovulatory transition, then you're taking things a little bit slower. Maybe you're dropping down the weight a little bit, focusing on time under tension instead by slowing things down, really kind of honing in on your mechanics and making sure that every rep counts. So there's room for both of those experiences, both of those approaches in the ovulatory phase. This workout, though, I will say was just a lot of fun. I was admittedly going through a bit of a workout slump myself, kind of not feeling motivated in every sense of the word. And this one really kind of was exactly what I needed. It was fun, it was quick, it was energizing, and left just enough left in the tank at the end of the practice so it didn't feel depleting. So I hope that you can find that in today's practice as well. We are using 5 different exercises and we're alternating between strict strength and then more of a conditioning exercise. And we are adjusting the intervals to match the effort that we're expecting in both of those modes. So for the strict strength exercise, you'll work for a full minute. That means you can move slowly, really focus on your mechanics. And then in the conditioning exercise, we're only doing that for 30 seconds. So that should feel more like a burst where you're giving it your all for that full 30 seconds, and then you have an equal amount of time to recover. So alternate between those two modes throughout. You want to be working with heavy loads if you can for today in both the strength exercise and the conditioning work. We do have 2 advanced movement patterns for our conditioning work today. And for that reason, I encourage you to check out the workout preview. In that separate video, I will walk you through all of the mechanics. I'll also give you a few alternatives if you're not quite ready to try on that advanced movement pattern. Say you're new to the practice or you're just new to that exercise. You can try on a few different variations first, really get the mechanics underway before you add the complexity. So stay tuned to that workout preview. It's a short separate video that you can speed up just so that you get the information that you need to really move powerfully through this entire workout and not run the risk of strain or injury or even just excessive muscle soreness with trying on these new movement patterns. So keep that in mind. You'll want to have a set of heavy weights and then something a little bit more on the medium side. And if you have access to a kettlebell, I recommend having a heavier kettlebell, something between 25 and 45 pounds, or you can always use a heavy dumbbell for those kettlebell swings when the time comes. You'll have a 5-minute warm up at the beginning, a 5-minute cool down at the end, and then a very optional 6-minute core finisher. This one, a few of my favorite exercises, really grounds the energy, especially after something high intensity like our workout for today. It will leave you feeling just that sense of balance, of ease, and it will connect you to the deepest layers of your core, which can help you feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more powerful moving through the rest of your day. All you'll need for that one is a wall space. It will add 6 minutes to your practice, but trust me, they will be worth it. These are the exercises that I do almost after every single strength session, especially when I'm working out on my own. I always like to add this core component to the end of the practice. So without further ado, let's get to work. Let's get warmed up and ready to go. We're starting with an overhead squat to a lat pull down. So you're going to take a big inhale, reach your arms overhead. We're simply going to step out to the side, squat down, and then as you come together, bring your elbows into your side, squeeze the back. Inhale, step out, exhale, pull. Keep your chest nice and upright. Sit back and down into that chair. You can step a little wider if you need to, but keeping it mostly neutral in that stance. Start to connect with your breath here. Stretch through the shoulders and pull. We've got 10 more seconds here. Maybe start to set a goal for your practice today. Last one. And then we come up, reach the arms up, bring your hands behind your head, neutralize that stance, draw the low belly in. We're going to exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Keep your hips forward and come through center. Big breath. And exhale, twist. Just warming up the upper body now, the upper back specifically, allowing it to really articulate and move. Last one. And come back up through center. Here, we're going to squat once again. Come down into your squat. Then step one foot back, hinge, single leg deadlift. Come forward into your prisoner squat, and then step the other leg back, hinge. So nice and easy here. I want you to keep pressing your head into your hands to keep that nice long position in the spine. You should feel the back of the legs waking up, that little bit of stretch here. Last one like this, and then we're coming up into our half kneeling T-spine twist. So half kneeling position, hands behind the head once again. Same thing we did standing, but now in a half kneeling position. So you're going to take your elbow to the opposite knee and come up. You can even get a little bit of that open twist at the top, just really kind of freeing the spine in all directions here. Last few reps here. Then we're going to come down. Your right leg is forward. Bring your left hand to the inside. Lift that back knee so you're in your nice deep lunge. Square the hips and then just circle the arm forward and back. So you reach the fingertips back toward your back foot and come forward. If you want a little deeper stretch, you can take that elbow to the inside edge of your foot. Try not to let the hips twist here, or let them drop down. So we're keeping the lower body nice and stable. Last big breath, and we're coming into downward dog. Step back, settle into your downward dog first. And then as you come forward, bear plank, hover the knees, tap one shoulder and then the other. Back to downward dog. Feel that stretch in the shoulders. Bear plank, tap. Shoulders and hips stay in that same plane the whole way through those taps. And breathe. After this, we're going to step the left foot forward. Get ready. Step that left foot forward. Hands behind the head. We're twisting. Opposite elbow to opposite knee. If you like, you can have, again, that open twist at the top. Just, again, creating freedom in the spine, creating some activation in the legs, waking up the hip flexors here. Looking to get the whole body ready for our practice. Last rep like this, then we're going to come down, bring your right hand to the inside, lift the back knee, circle the arm, back and forward. Again, if you want that deeper stretch in the hip, you're taking the elbow toward the inner edge of your front foot. Keep the legs active and strong, like you're hugging the front heel and the ball mound of the back foot toward each other to create that activation in the pelvic floor. After this, we'll step back into our plank position. You can bring the knees down for a push-up. Elbows come slightly out. Take it back and walk the hands to the feet. All the way up to standing, reach up, and then walk it out to your push-up. Again, you can have the knees up or the knees down. Warming the chest here, waking up the upper body. Let's get one more really good push-up. And we'll come all the way back up to standing. This time, we're going to take the arms overhead, circle the arms forward as you hinge at the hips. Reach and come up. Inhale and exhale. Nice and slow circles here, moving through the full range of motion in those beautiful shoulders. Really allow yourself to move through the entire circle. Last one, big breath in and slow breath out. That is your total body warm up to get you ready for your strength training. Hopefully you're feeling that little bit of increase in circulation and heat, and now you're ready to get into your workout next. Let's get right into our total body workout for the ovulatory phase. So different than our upper and lower body sessions, today is a little bit more of a wild card. So we're not progressing anything from week one. We're just showing up for the work that is appropriate for each of us in this cycle. So that might be pushing to your higher intensity, kind of outgrowing those old thresholds. It might be moving a little bit more slow and steady, just kind of taking that different approach, that early luteal approach with the heavier weight. So lots of options for how you approach this workout. We do have a few advanced movement patterns in today's workout. We have the kettlebell swing and the single arm dumbbell snatch. I encourage you, if you're new to this practice or you're new to those movement patterns, to please check out the workout preview where I'll walk through all the mechanics and I'll give you options to scale it back a little bit if you're not quite ready to take on those movement patterns. We've explored both of these in our week of workouts leading up to today, but if you missed one of those workouts or you're still kind of unfamiliar with that movement pattern, please check out the workout preview. Everything you need will be in there. But without further ado, I will get our timer started. We're alternating between a strength exercise and a conditioning exercise. We're doing the strength exercise for 60 seconds with a 30-second rest, and then we're doing the conditioning exercise for 30 seconds. That's a short interval. I want you to go all out for that conditioning exercise unless you're feeling that early luteal pull. If you are, just take it slow and steady for that full 30 seconds. We'll go through this circuit 3 times through. I will be with you every step of the way, walking you through all the exercises. You want to have a set of heavy dumbbells and then something just a little bit lighter for some of our overhead holds, and then a single heavy dumbbell for your kettlebell swings. So that could be a kettlebell or a heavy dumbbell. You can always use a single dumbbell for that. So I will get us going here. We'll have 20 seconds to set up. Our first movement pattern is on the back. It's a chest press with a bridge. So you can grab your heavier weight for this. We're here for a full minute. I want you to bring your feet onto the floor. You want to curl the pubic bone toward the navel just slightly. Then we'll take that weight overhead, just over the nipple line. We'll lift those hips into bridge and begin. Here we go. Take the elbows down nice and wide and squeeze. So we're driving through the heels. We are flattening the lower belly and neutralizing the low spine. And then we have that press. So we come all the way down to the floor and press that weight away. It should feel heavy. We're here for a full minute with this heavy load, so this should be slow and steady. And then we'll pair that with some conditioning work next. So that's kind of our pattern for today. We've got the slow, steady strength work and then sort of a conditioning burst in between. So our first one will be the single arm snatch, but let's focus on this exercise for now. So you're taking those elbows out wide, you're feeling a little bit of a stretch in the upper back, and then squeezing those dumbbells together. Breathing in and then exhaling through pursed lips on that exertion phase. Last 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come down. Take your time as you transition from that supine position up to standing. Our first explosive movement pattern here, the single arm dumbbell snatch. You're going to take a single heavy dumbbell. We are coming into our deadlift position, pulling it up to shoulder height, and then getting under that weight, catching it with bent knees, and coming up to straight legs. Option for just a high pull here or a dumbbell curl to press. Let's get ready and begin. So we lift it up. You're going to exchange sides each time. I want you to take extra care as you lower that dumbbell back to the starting position. Don't let it drop. Don't let it pull you down. So you've got that big pull, you get under the weight and come back to center. I'll show it from the side here so you can see that weight stays close to the body the whole time. You've got that little bit of a hop to get under that weight. One more and rest. Just 30 seconds for that one. Next up, we're coming to our dumbbell Romanian deadlift to a bent row. So here, coming to mid-shin, you can turn the palms to face in for your row, elbows squeeze in behind you, come straight to the hip, or you can take them slightly out and away from each other, so more of a wide row. Your choice there, depending on the weight. Let's get ready and begin. So come mid-shin, straight spine, row, back down and up. So we're holding that bottom position so that we can perform the row. That means legs are firing, backs of the legs firing, glutes are firing. I want you to tone the low belly so that there's no strain in the lower back. I want you to relax the shoulders so there's no tension in the neck. We're working backs of the legs and the back here in the row. Slow down your breath if you can. That's the goal of this slower, longer strength work, is that we're catching our breath, getting ready for the next explosive movement pattern. Kind of alternating between these two modes so that heavy strength work and the higher intensity conditioning work. Last one, and rest. Set your weight off to the side, grab your heavy dumbbell. You can grab it by the head of one side of that dumbbell, right in the center, or you've got your kettlebell. This one, the power comes all from the hips. So you're gonna have a tiny hinge and then extend the hips with some power. So you're not lifting with the arms, you're focusing on driving those hips. That's what lifts the kettlebell. I don't want you to worry too much about how high that kettlebell comes. We're aiming for shoulder height, but don't sweat it either way. Here we go. I want these to be continuous. I want you to work for that full 30 seconds. Maybe count your reps to give you a goal to meet or beat in the second and third rounds. So all the effort, all the power coming from the hips. Get that little bit of a hinge. That's enough to load the hips and then explode up. You've got 5 more seconds. Breathe here and rest. Lower that weight carefully. Next up, you're going to grab your lighter set of weights. We're coming into an overhead lunge. So you've got the weights overhead, lunging with both feet. And then at the top, it's a shoulder press. If that's too much, you can have the weight at the shoulders, just come into your reverse lunge, and then press at the top. You don't have to add that overhead hold. The overhead hold is helping us work a little bit of core strength to close out this circuit. We come up and press. So if you're not doing the overhead hold, you've got the weight down at the shoulders for the lunge, and then you just press up and back down. Otherwise, you're keeping that weight overhead. As you take the weight overhead, draw your front ribs in. Don't let them flare out. You can be in a neutral grip here with the palms facing in, or more of that wide grip with the palms facing out. That shoulder press might feel a little bit tough in this weight range, so neutral grip is totally fine. You can add a little bit of a push press if you need it at the top. So we want this weight to be challenging enough for the legs, which means it might be a little heavy for your press. If that's the case, make it a push press and rest. That was round 1. We are coming into our second round. So chest press from our bridge position. You've got about 20 seconds to set it up. Come onto your back. Catch your breath. So this one again, we're slowing it down and we're moving that heavy weight. So I want you to curl the tail up, press through the heels, take that weight over the nipple line, and begin. Take it down and up. So this is where we slow things down. We're catching our breath. You're lifting the glutes by driving through the heels, not by arching the back. So I want you to scoop the tailbone slightly under, keep that lower back neutral, and then focus on your press. You might inflate the upper back a little bit as you come down, and then press the upper back into the floor as you squeeze up. Breathe in and out. So today's practice, one, to really stir up creative energy, to tap the well of endorphins. Hopefully by the end of this quick circuit, you're feeling more energized than when you came. That is the goal with every workout. We don't want you to walk off the mat feeling depleted, but energized, and rest. So again, as we change body positions, take it nice and slow. Keep one of those heavy weights for your single arm snatch. And again, your options here, you can be in a high pull where you're just bringing the weight up to shoulder height, or you can be in that asymmetrical dumbbell deadlift, curl to press. Lots of options here. Get ready to find some power. We'll move in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So grab that weight, get under it as you pull up. Take care again as you're moving from one side to the other. I want you to give as much attention and care to the lowering as you do to that heavy lift. Often it's the injuries or the pulls and tweaks happen not during that hard work, but in the in-between when we have a tendency to check out. So I want you to stay in it. Here we go. Last one, and rest. You can set that weight off to the side. We're coming into our next movement pattern, which is that Romanian deadlift to a row. So you'll grab both weights. We're coming into that hinge position with our row. So I want you to focus on keeping the elbows nice and close to the body, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Let's get ready. Pick it up, and here we go. Hinge, row. Keep that spine long and come back up. I want you to keep the backs of the legs loaded so you feel that tension from the glutes through the hamstrings all the way. The entire time that you're in that row, you've got tension on the legs. Keep the back of the neck long, shoulders relaxed. We've got 30 more seconds here. You can slow it down if you need to. This is straight strength work. And then we'll pair it with that conditioning effort in the kettlebell swing next. Love these total body workouts for the ovulatory phase. They give us that little bit of a metabolic boost as we go into the second half of the cycle. Last one, and rest. Grab your heavy dumbbell or your kettlebell. Again, we're coming to that swing. I want these to be continuous. So I want you working at your max effort, if you can, for that full 30 seconds. If, again, you're in the early luteal phase vibes already, you can take it a little bit slower, but keep it continuous. We're looking to work on stamina and endurance. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Continuous reps. If you counted your reps in the first round, try to meet or beat that number. So again, you're not swinging with the upper arms. This is maybe inaccurately named as a kettlebell swing. Instead, you're popping it up with the hips. I want you to feel that power as you straighten the legs and extend the hips. Last 3, 2, and 1. Set that weight down very carefully. Reach for your lighter set of dumbbells. We're coming into the reverse lunge to a shoulder press. So catch your breath here for a second and then grab that weight. Again, the overhead hold is optional. That's just going to give you more core stabilization and add to the difficulty a little bit because you're holding that load away from the heart. Here we go. Step it back and up, other side, and press. Either strict press, or you can add that little bit of a push if you need it. Make sure your lower back is neutral. You're drawing those front ribs in. You're sending the upper arms behind the ears and relaxing the shoulders down to keep the neck long. Press. You can also alternate the press. So maybe one side each time, or again, get a little bit of that support from the legs in a push press. Reverse lunge, reverse lunge. This is our last exercise of this round. 10 more seconds. Press it up. 3, 2, and 1. Set your weight down. Grab your heavier weight. Get ready for round 3. We are so close to finishing out this workout. So strong. I want you to grab that weight, come onto your back, and we'll get ready to move. In about 12 seconds here, just straightening out my mat, getting organized. Lift your hips into your bridge position, curl the tail under, and begin. Take it down, press it up. So again, by round 3, this weight should feel pretty heavy. That bridge hold should be a little more challenging. This is a total body experience. Working upper and lower together, creating that energetic demand that supports improved stamina, improved conditioning, more efficient metabolism. Breathe in as you come down. Press to the top. These longer intervals are preparing us for the endurance work that comes in the luteal phase. But we haven't lightened the load yet. We're still heavy in the ovulatory phase. So feel that difference as we transition. And rest. Slowly come out. Keep one heavy weight. Set one off to the side. We've got our single arm dumbbell snatch. So we're connecting to our power mode here. I want you to, from the heels, drive that weight up. So it is coming from the legs. We're using that pull, and then we get under the weight to take it overhead. Get your weight into position. We're just here for 30 seconds. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Drive it up, get under it, and press the legs straight. Be careful as you lower it down and come back. I want you to keep that weight close to the body, but just be careful that you're clearing your face on the way up. We don't want any mishaps, but we want to keep that load over the center of the body as best as we can. You've got 5 more seconds. Let's get 2 more. Even it out. And rest. You can keep that heavy weight. We're going to move into our deadlift to a bent row. So we're working primarily larger muscle groups in the upper body, back and chest today, so that we can keep that heavy weight. So it's challenging enough for the lower body, but still manageable for the upper body. Let's get ready. Catch your breath. Those single arm snatches definitely take your breath away. Here we go. Deadlift, back to center and up. So I don't want you to just gloss over the deadlift phase of this movement. The row might feel more challenging, but I still want you to emphasize the work in the legs in that deadlift. So you're shifting the weight slightly forward in the feet, but then driving the heel down. So it almost feels like your heel wants to lift off the mat, but then you anchor it and drive through the heel to extend the hips. Pull. Classic pull. Key action here in the legs and the arms. We've got just over 10 more seconds. Keep that belly drawing in, core engaged, shoulders relaxed. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set those dumbbells down. You can either keep one of the heavy ones or switch to your kettlebell. We've got our last round of swings. Let's make these count. Continuous effort, solid effort for 30 seconds. So it's a short burst, which I want to have that support your mental state. You can do anything for 30 seconds. It goes by super quick. Let's get ready. Come into position. 3, 2, and 1. Start it off. Nice and strong through those hips. want you to feel that pop from the hips. That's what takes the weight up. If you can, take the arms all the way out of it. They are just facilitating by holding that weight. Your hips doing all the work. Hips and heart making this happen. You've got just 5 more seconds. Get a few more reps all the way and rest. Set that heavier load down. Grab your lighter weights. Have those ready. We've got one more exercise. Overhead lunge to your shoulder press. Catch that breath. We're moving in 10 seconds. So again, aiming for the overhead hold for core stabilization, but if you need to, you can take even just the first few reps at the shoulders. I'll demonstrate that here. So reverse lunge, press, and back down. Or you're taking that lunge in the overhead position. We're revisiting this pattern from a previous workout in this ovulatory phase week. Keep it strong. I want you to move with intention. So we want to keep the loading angle on the knees safe and efficient. So try not to create any lateral pressure on the knee. You're stepping straight back and straight forward. We got this. And press. 10 more seconds. Stay strong. Finish it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set that weight down. Recover. Walk around your workout space. Check in with your heart rate. Sometimes with a lot of hand movement, my heart rate doesn't quite register, especially as it gets a little bit higher. So you can always time it or just pay attention to your breath. So I'm still in that panting mode, still a little bit gaspy for air. So going to take some dynamic movement. All my favorites, just upright twist. Then we come into a side lunge. Nice and slow until you feel that heart rate come back down. And then a few together. Let's take the feet wide. Big breath in, inhale. Slow it down as you squat. It's that nice deep goddess squat. Come up, inhale. And exhale. Nice and slow, lengthen it out. Last one like this, big breath. And slow it down. So you feel that, almost that wave of quiet and calm that washes over the body that tells you you're ready for whatever comes next. So you have the option of jumping straight to your cool down. You can use the timestamps in the video description to skip ahead. Or if you're feeling pretty energized after that circuit and you want a little bit of core work to really ground your energy and connect to the deep layers of the core, you can stick with me for this core finisher. It's just 5 minutes long. All you will need is a wall space, so just make sure you're close to a wall, and we'll head into that finisher next. You're sticking with me for our core finisher today. This is one. These are my go-to exercises. Anytime I'm working out on my own, I always like to incorporate these few exercises at the end of my practice. Really helps to ground your energy, especially after something high intensity, and it will create that deep connection to the innermost layers of your core. So it can help bolster your confidence throughout the day and just help you stand up taller, help you walk through the world in a more powerful way. So we have 5 different exercises. We're just doing them for 1 minute each. You can use some time in between to transition. You want to be close to a wall space. I'm just going to demonstrate the 5-minute version here, so 1 minute of each exercise. You could always do this twice if you want a slightly longer core practice at the end of your workout. So I'll get us started. We're going to be at the wall first. So 20 seconds to set up. I want you to place your feet on the wall with the knees bent about 90 degrees. What we're doing is we're just kind of taking any load out of the feet. I want you to curl your pubic bone toward the navel so you feel that neutral spine. Take your hands behind your head here, and it's a simple crunch. So the elbows are wide. I want you to lift, keep the neck neutral, and lower. I want you to focus on drawing the belly button down and in so it's not puffing up. We want to shorten the gap. Think of closing the gap between hip points and low ribs, like you're just shortening a spring there, squeezing those 2 points in space together. You've got light weight in the feet. You're not holding that wall up. You're just taking the weight out of the legs so that you can focus and emphasize on the core work. That is the 30-second mark there. We've got a little bit more to go in this first exercise, and then we're going to stay on the back, but we'll be paralleling the long edge of the mat. So get ready to just rotate slightly in about 5 more seconds here. And we'll switch. So come on the long orientation of the mat. I want you to bring your legs to that upward tabletop, right hand to left thigh, left arm straight up. We're simply going to extend left arm and right leg, all the while pressing that right hand into the right thigh. Notice what happens with your lower back. Does it have a tendency to arch? I want you to counter that. I want you to neutralize that low spine and then fix the position of the pelvis and low spine. So it stays in that solid neutral position the whole time so that you have to use the abdominals here. I want you to keep firmly pressing with that right hand on the left thigh. So you have not only the core, but a little bit of hip flexor work happening here to stabilize. Just straight up and straight down. We're just going to switch sides for our next exercise. So that should be a smooth transition. Coming up in 3, 2, and 1. So just switch it out. Left hand to right thigh, right arm reaches up, and then extend. Right arm, left leg, and come up. So you're pushing the whole time on that right thigh with the left hand, neutralizing the lower spine. This is one where if you're arching your lower back, you'll probably feel some strain there pretty quickly. If you are able to neutralize the low spine, you'll feel this working in your low belly, kind of all the way around right from the beginning. We've got about 30 more seconds here. And then we'll switch to our bird dog. And I may have said that this was a 5-minute finisher. We've got 6 exercises. So forgive me, we've got 1 extra minute here. We reach it out and back in. We're going to switch to bird dog, so tabletop. Now, make your transition. Want shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. We're just going to reach right arm, left leg, and back down. Reach, extend, and back down. So we're returning to tabletop each time, just to give you that little bit of a reset. I want you to add a micro bend into the supporting elbow and level out the hips and shoulders. So your goal is to fix the position of the torso, and you're just lifting that arm and leg from that neutral position. We're here for about 20 more seconds. And then we'll get ready to switch to the other side. So we're working single-sided here so that we can get some momentum. We can build some of that sensation in the core. Last 3, 2, 1. Switch sides, make that transfer, and lift, lower. So reaching left arm, right leg, and we're not letting the torso twist. We're keeping the shoulders and the hips nice and even. Breathe in as you come down. Exhale as you reach. So I can feel, now that my core is getting a little bit fatigued, that tendency for the working hip to want to pop open. So it takes extra core work to strengthen it, to lengthen and keep it level. Think about stretching the fingertips away from the toes. So you're sort of radiating energy in both directions, keeping the neck nice and long, spine nice and neutral. We're here for 5 more seconds, then we're coming right back to the wall for our wall bridge. And I'm going to start our timer over since we have 1 extra minute. So we'll go ahead and head to the wall, take your feet up the wall, just like we did in our first exercise. You want the feet a little bit higher than your knees. So you want that slight angle in the feet, and then we're simply lifting it up, curling the tailbone under, and back down. So it might take a few reps to really get the right position. I want you to lower, neutral spine, come up, scoop the tail. Here, I do want you to feel like you're holding that wall up. I want you to really press through the heels, squeeze the glutes, curl the tail under. So you want your shins parallel to the floor at the top. So rather than really pushing the hips up, I want you to scoop the tail under. So you come to that point where knees are level with the ankles, and then the rest of the rep happens in that scooping of the tail under. I want you to imagine squeezing the inner thighs together. This should be only felt in your glutes. You should take the lower back out of it. So if you're feeling any strain there, I want you to decrease the range of motion or come back down, reset, and then jump back in. And rest. Slowly come down. Take your time as you come out so you can roll to one side. Slowly come up to your standing position, taking your time. That one should be very grounding, so hopefully your heart rate not too high. It's a good segue between your workout and the rest of your cool down. That completes our core finisher for today, and now we'll head into the cool down next. You have just completed your total body workout, and now it is time to cool down. As you're ready, start to step your feet just a little bit wider than hips width. Give a few shimmies and shakes, just side to side here. Then we're going to interlace the fingers behind you. Stretch the arms straight and strong. Feel that opening across the chest. Lift the pubic bone toward the navel. Draw the front ribs in. Big inhale breath here. And then as you exhale, fold forward any amount. Keep the heart at the level of the hips. Few deep breaths. You can create that micro bend in the knees here. Maybe side to side, a little bit of a twist. Release the hands as you're ready. And then we're going to come over the right leg, let the left knee come down into a lizard stretch. Here, slight modification, we're going to take the right hand to the right thigh, press down and forward, and twist the heart open to the right. We need to keep your hips nice and square. Come onto the top of that back thigh, maybe untuck the toes so you feel the hip flexor stretch and that deep hip opening. If you prefer, you can take the hands to the inside. Just focusing on those deep breaths here. Last 2 and 1. We're going to come up through center into our goddess squat. So heels in, toes out. I want you to take the hands to the inner knees, turn your fingers in or out, and then we're just going to dip the shoulders. So as you dip, pressing the inner knees out, feeling that nice twist in the spine, lengthening the lower back. This is a great release for the lower spine after any strength work, but specifically our total body strength work today. Last one. Now we'll come over the left leg, right knee comes down. Bring your left hand to your left thigh, press down and forward, twist the heart open. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Come onto the top of the back thigh. Really allow the hips to soften without collapsing. So we're not dumping weight into the pelvic floor, but we're just relaxing and letting gravity kind of take over here. We'll be here a few more breaths. And then we'll take the left knee back to join the right for puppy pose. Walk the hands out. I like to bring the palms to touch, bring the elbows to the center. Feel that nice deep stretch in the triceps, under the armpits, all the way up the spine. Lift your hip creases up and back. Really working to lengthen the rib cage. And then we'll slowly start to come up. Create a zigzag shape with your legs. So your left leg in front, right leg behind. We're going to fold over that left leg, take your right arm, thread it under the left. So we get both a hip stretch and an upper body twist. If the twist is too much, you can always take it out. I want you to really feel kind of that deep hip opening, both inner and outer rotation in the hips. And slowly start to lift up. Take your left hand behind you, right arm reaches. You can even come down onto the left forearm. I want you to stretch from the inner back knee all the way up. So arch away from that inner knee. You should really feel some deep hip flexor awakening here. You might even feel as you stretch the psoas, kind of a pull in the lower back. We're just restoring the length to the front body here after that total body work. And come up. Let's switch the position of the legs. So now the right leg in front, the left leg back. We're going to fold over that right leg. You have the option again here to thread the left arm under into an upper body twist. Or again, you're just folding over that right leg. Softening here. Can even be a little bit more upright if it feels like too much to come all the way down. And then slowly lift it up. We're going to turn over that right arm, bring the right forearm down and anchor the inner left knee, that back knee to the floor. Reach your left arm up and away. So I really want you to feel this arc in the spine that lengthens the hip flexor complex. There's a lot of musculature happening there. So we lift up and out and back. Last huge breath here. Then we're going to come up to a simple seated position. You can cross your legs if you wish. Bring your hands to your knees, cat and cow spine. So I want you to lift, soften the shoulders, and then round in, curl the tailbone under, chin to chest. So we're kind of expressing both extremes in the spine. So full extension and then full flexion of the spine, rounding in. Breathe as you open up. And exhale, last one like this. Let's slowly take the feet forward in your own way. Come into a ball pose. So tiny ball pose squat, lift the heels, stretch the feet, and then slowly, bone by bone, we roll all the way up to standing. I want you to enjoy a huge breath in, reach the arms overhead, and exhale, sigh it out. That completes your total body cool down for today. If you have extra time, you can always run through that 5-minute sequence one more time or continue some gentle stretching on your own, whatever you need to kind of reset the nervous system to resolve that stress response from your workout and send you on your way. For now, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here today and for letting your body be moved.